Toronto Raptors have the 4th overall pick in the draft. We found that out yesterday in the draft lottery, and I think, the top 3 picks I think will be Cade, Mobley, Jalen Green. I'm not sure who's going to go 2 and 3, but at 4, I think it's a no-brainer pick for Toronto. I think it's Jalen Suggs, and not only because I think he's the best available player left, but also Toronto is probably going to lose Kyle Lowry. They're going to lose their floor general point guard. And Jalen Suggs is that floor general point guard, in my opinion. He's a great passer. He's a good slasher. He can get to the rim. He's a great defender. I mean, they could, realistically, what they're losing in Kyle Lowry, they can gain back with Jalen Suggs. And I think he'll be really good for them. You could make an argument for Kuminga, because I believe in Toronto to develop Kuminga. But you look at Toronto, they're not lacking wings. They already have OG Anunoby. They already have Pascal Siakam. I don't think they need a wing. Right now, they need a floor general point guard, and I think that's Jalen Suggs. I think the 4th pick should be Jalen Suggs, and it would be a great pick for them.
I think if, I know Toronto fans was praying for Cade, and I believe if Cade got on this team, they would have made the playoffs 100%. I think Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby taking that leap this year, and he's going to continue to improve.
Especially with a floor general point guard.
Pascal Siakam, he was going to benefit. I think this team is really, really, really good and has a lot of youth. And I think this team just needs a guy that kind of can bring it all together and gel. And with Kyle Lowry leaving, like he said, it's no better position than to just put Suggs in that spot. Playing for Gonzaga, you kind of have that chip on your shoulder, and you kind of have that way about you where you just know what winning basketball feels like. And I think Suggs walking into that situation, he already had the Gonzaga run. I think he'll know what to do and be good at what he does, and that's being the 5th or 6th option and not being a complete drop-off. Even if, like I said, if Houston panics and picks Suggs, you go Green. If Green maybe slides to 4, or even Mobley. I like Mobley in Toronto low-key. I think Mobley at the 5 is a good spot. Chris Boucher, I think he's not under contract. I think he'll be free agency. You get Mobley at the 5.
He's under contract. He's gonna be on Toronto next year.
Okay, so even then, you still get Mobley at the 5. I think that's a good pick. So I think Toronto, whoever drops, I think Suggs should be their number 1 option because they need a 1 because Kyle Lowry's probably not going to come back. But I think Mobley, if he drops, would be a great option for them. Jalen Green too.
Mobley would be the dream scenario. I mean, Toronto right now have no center, and Siakam, he's played with good centers before. He's a 4. He's like a 4-3 hybrid.
Yeah.
He can guard players, so that's not a problem. Their defense is going to be great. That would be a dream scenario.
That spacing would be crazy.
Last year, they tried the Aaron Baines experiment. That didn't work out. Then later in the season, they started Khem Birch, who actually had a really good stretch with the Raptors. He averaged, I think, 11 points and 9 rebounds about there when he started for Toronto. But he's a free agent, so who knows if he's going to come back. But Evan Mobley to Toronto, that would be a dream scenario, and that honestly would be scary. That would be scary. Evan Mobley would be scary there.
So I'm leaning Jalen Suggs, but my question, you guys really think Kyle Lowry's gone, no doubt?
I think he wants to win, like have a real chance at winning. And I don't think
he already got his chip. You think
I think he wants to play. He wants to. I feel like when guys get one chip, they get hungry for more. Like they want to experience that run again, that feel again. And I think Kyle Lowry's in a position right now where he can still contribute to a winning team. So I think he wants to be at the top of the helm in contention for a championship. Okay. So I think he'll go somewhere else. I think the 2 LA teams are his first places he's looking at, honestly.
Okay. So yeah, with that in mind, I feel like Jalen Suggs definitely makes the most sense here. You need that playmaking type guard that one can feed your guys. You can feed the shooters like OG Anunoby, Federico. You got Pascal Siakam who can let it go. Boucher who can also shoot the 3 ball relatively well. And Jalen Suggs can go get a bucket too. I feel like that's the best of both worlds. If Jalen drops to 4, Toronto should be smiling ear to ear. It's like you're getting the bottom of the barrel, but that bottom of the barrel is still a gold trophy. I love Jalen Suggs' game. I just think that Jalen Green's a better scorer than he is, and in a league where offense is so essential, that's why I like Green to go earlier. You guys are saying Mobley would be the perfect scenario. I just feel like Boucher needs his time as a starter, especially when you bring in Siakam and him to run that 4-5. I really like Siakam at that 4. I like Boucher at that 5. Boucher's defense is really solid. He was one of the top shot blockers in the league, and he could space the floor too. His shot, he had multiple games where he was hitting multiple threes. Boucher was really one of the more underlooked players, especially because Toronto really wasn't that efficient. But you look at the starting lineup of you got Jalen Suggs, Federico, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Chris Boucher.
Who is Federico?
Yeah, who's Federico?
Fred VanVleet.
Oh, you keep calling him Federico.
You guys aren't from the 6. Y'all wouldn't get it.
Oh, I was sitting here and I'm just like, yo, who does he keep saying?
Really?
Bro?
You guys never heard him called Federico?
Nah, I was just sitting here thinking like, you must be some new guy.
I don't know who you were talking about.
I was gonna ask you. I thought you would just mess his name.
All good.
Wait, you think Chris Boucher is a good defender?
Yeah,
I don't.
I said shot blocker. He's a good shot blocker.
He said shot blocker.
I don't know.
He's 27, right?
I wouldn't like Chris Boucher at that 5.
I mean, you don't have to start Mobley at the 5 though right away.
Okay.
You know, you can bring him off the bench, or it's just
no. Wait,
I feel like you want
Mobley.
You think so?
You want your number 2, number 3, number 4 pick to be a starter right off rip. In my opinion,
I think Chris Boucher defensively, I don't think he's very good because he has such a slight frame. He has the frame of a guy who just came into the NBA. You know, he can't bang with great.
He's tall. He's got length.
But he can't bang with elite centers in the NBA. I think that's where Evan Mobley, he could. I think Evan Mobley, day one, he is an elite defender or at least great defender. Chris Boucher, to me, is a starting 4. But obviously with Siakam there, you can't start him at 4. I think he's that 6th man for the Raptors, and he's going to be really good in his role. But I don't think, if it's between Mobley and Boucher, I think it's Mobley.
Well, fair enough, because Mobley's going to have the youth. But Boucher had a pretty great season. I mean, he shot 51% from the field, shot 38% from 3, averaged 2 blocks a game, averaged 13.6 points a game. I mean, he had a really underrated, underlooked season. I mean, 2 blocks a game, that's pretty firm. I understand what you're saying because he doesn't have the bulkiness of a true center in the league. But being over 7 feet tall, he's not really 7 feet. He's only 6'10".
So
Boucher.
Look at these stats. This past season, the Raptors were the 2nd worst defensive rebounding team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
They were even worse when Boucher was on the court.
Yeah, Boucher's not a great rebounder for his size.
And rebounding is a part of defense.
No doubt.
So, if you want a center, you can't have Boucher out there because you need a guy who can grab rebounds or else you're going to give a lot of teams second chance opportunities.
Fair enough.
He's a good shot blocker, no doubt, but there are a lot of players who can block shots but aren't good defenders, So
listen,
I just think
I said he was a good shot blocker. I'm not going all in on his defense, but you're 100% right. That rebounds lacking in his game definitely takes him down and would be a question mark to start him at the center. I just feel like his offense is what makes him stand out so much. Especially you're not really paying him much anyways. So I feel like I'd rather go the point guard route, especially if you're planning on losing your franchise point guard who's been there for years. So I feel like that's why I would lean Suggs, even if Mobley's there. But I understand where you guys are coming from for sure.
So what do you think, Riv? Let's just say their pick is between Jalen Suggs and Jonathan Kuminga. Who would you go with?
Suggs.
Easily, no doubt about it.
With Anunoby there, damn, I'm probably saying
Anunoby.
I'm just OG. With OG, triple OG, with him there and Pascal there, I don't even see a scenario where Kuminga goes there. I think those two guys, Pascal being 26, OG still being really young, I don't even think Kuminga would go in there. And granted, Toronto has a really great developing team, but I just think you go Suggs.
I have a question. Weren't you contemplating Scotty and Kuminga for that 5th pick?
I don't think Scotty goes there either, though.
I could have swore that you said that you were leaning.
For Orlando, I think Scotty is more ahead than Kuminga right now, but Kuminga just has that potential.
Okay, I'm with you
where
there.
he can
it's
be.
Popping,
I'm with you.
He can be Paul George like.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So if you're trusting your developmental team to develop a player like that,
which Toronto has a history of,
they could go Kuminga. But if it's between Green, Mobley, and Suggs, which I don't think it's going to be, I really don't see a scenario where Mobley or Green are there at 4. I
agree.
don't see one. But let's just say they have to pick between one of those 3. I think it's Mobley.
Toronto?
I think, they already have scores. They need that elite defensive presence. And Mobley can also, I think he's a career 20 and 10 guy. Like, that's what I think his ceiling is.
Okay.
Mobley is that good. So I would go Mobley if I was Toronto. And if they luck into Mobley, that would be a dream scenario. But obviously, if it's between Suggs, Barnes, and Kuminga, I think Jalen Suggs is a no-brainer pick.